Everyone is safe after a fire in a Prairie apartment building overnight, where residents say they didn't hear any alarms.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for starting your week with us on this Monday, May 6th. And we are coming off a beautiful weekend.
It was fantastic. I was with you every single day.
Yeah, Josh and I went to a concert on Friday night. We went to the Wisconsin Broadcast Association Awards on Saturday with Hattie as well. And then we went to the Terrace on Sunday.
It was a busy weekend, yeah.
The Terrace would have been a great place to be. I was at a lacrosse game and a baseball game yesterday.
Perfect weather.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful to be outside in the sunshine. It did end with some rain late in the day. That baseball game ended a little early with those showers and thunderstorms moving in, but it was a beautiful weekend. Kind of need a weekend to recoup from the weekend, I think.
Yeah, seriously.
We do.
That's what I feel like this morning. Cloudy start to the day with some rain as well in the area. Take a look at the radar map. Better plan on grabbing that umbrella before you head out the door because showers are in the forecast this morning. We should dry out though for the afternoon. It's not going to be a complete washout today. Temperatures are still in the 50s in most areas. The Dells now dropping to 49. It's definitely going to be a much cooler day today. We talked about highs in the 70s yesterday, only 58 today with a northeasterly wind around 8 to 15 miles per hour. So you might want to grab a jacket as well as that umbrella. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning. We're not looking at any major delays. The usual crowd is showing up on the Beltline right around Stoughton Road though, so starting to get a little busier there. Drive times into the city, still looking normal. Looks like you're going at posted speeds. Just be aware, we have had a little bit of patchy fog at times this morning, and the roads may be wet in some spots as well.
Here's a little silver lining to that rain. If you need a little recouping from the weekend, perfect napping.
Nap time.
If you get a nap today, yeah, that's not bad.
Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
All right, 6:02 is your time right now, and into the Channel3000.com Alert Center overnight. Investigators have narrowed down the possible cause of a deadly plane fire in Russia to 3 possibilities. They say inexperienced pilots, equipment failure, or bad weather were likely to blame. The bodies of more than 40 victims were recovered this morning. Nearly 40 others survived the fire, which started after an emergency landing in Moscow. The pilots had to turn back to Moscow after taking off after having unspecified problems once they were in the air.
In more local news this morning, people at an apartment building in Prairie are waking up out of their homes after a fire in that city last night. The call came in around 9:15, reporting a fire inside an apartment building along South Bird Street, just off West Main. Crews were on the scene within 2 minutes of the call, but they arrived to already see flames shooting out from a second-story unit. One person was reportedly trapped inside. Crews were able to get them out. One person went to the hospital with minor injuries, though it's not clear who that was. We got the chance to hear from the woman who called 911. She said the act of her community coming together, knocking on apartment doors to make sure everyone was getting out, might have saved lives.
No, I didn't hear any fire alarms. I mean, we were in there. I mean, I would have heard it from the outside, but I didn't hear any alarms as I was walking in. I didn't hear anything, and nobody was really coming out until we went in and kind of told everybody to come out.
We do know there were no sprinklers inside due to the apartment's age, but it's not clear whether there were active fire detectors. Residents in this building and the apartments next door were evacuated due to smoke damage and loss of power. There's no word this morning as to when they'll be able to return home.
3 people are confirmed dead and another is still missing this morning after a silicon factory in Waukegan exploded over the weekend. We now know 2 of those victims are from Wisconsin. It happened Friday night at AB Specialty Silicones about 40 miles north of Chicago. Yesterday afternoon, rescue workers recovered the body of one of the 2 people missing. One more body is believed to be located inside the rubble of that plant. One of the lives lost, 53-year-old second shift supervisor Byron Bean. He lived just outside of Union Grove, Wisconsin. Survivors say he saved lives by telling everyone inside to evacuate after realizing something wasn't right. His neighbors are still in shock.
I was devastated. It was because you don't think your neighbor would ever this happen to your neighbor, you know, and a friend. I mean, it's just things just don't happen around me.
Bean's son also worked at the plant and was there Friday night, but was treated and released at the hospital. The other victim was 29-year-old Alan Stevens from Salem, Wisconsin. Officials say he died Saturday at the hospital.
More than 700 fire departments here in Wisconsin rely on volunteers, but many are struggling right now to recruit and retain those members. Now lawmakers are hoping some new legislation could help that situation. When departments are down on volunteers, emergency response times can be a little bit slower, which could make the difference between life and death. At the state capitol, Senator Patrick Testin is working on a proposal to give tax incentives to folks who volunteer in those positions.
Right now, there really isn't any incentive whatsoever. And in today's day and age where it's so difficult to attract people into certain professions, we're trying to remove any hurdles into entry into this type of work.
Tax credits would help reimburse volunteers for equipment, training, and travel expenses. New members would also get tax credits when they join those departments, and those would increase after 5 years to help fuel retention. One department chief we talked to said volunteers do their jobs for their communities, not for the money, but some incentive certainly wouldn't hurt.
It is 6:05 right now. We've got a first alert traffic update regarding the Verota Road construction project. Tonight, crews will be shifting all northbound traffic on Verota Road onto the newly completed concrete pavement. This is from Williamsburg Way to Raymond Road. The Williamsburg Way intersection will remain partially closed until July. You can still only make right turns in and out of that intersection. Officials are asking you to be alert for those lane changes as well as any construction crews and equipment.
All right, this next story is really interesting. From a bruised apple to a misshapen bell pepper, there are fruits and vegetables that never make it to your grocery store simply because they don't look good.
Now there's a service launching in Madison to keep those imperfect produce from going to waste, saving you money and also helping local farmers. And our Keely Arthur joins us live on the east side to explain. Good morning, Keely.
Good morning, you two. Well, if you're anything like me and you're going through the produce section at the grocery store, you're looking for that perfect shaped pear or that perfectly red apple, but that's a mentality that is costly to your budget, costly to the environment. And Imperfect Produce, a company now moving into Madison, is trying to shift that mentality. I have here with me Patrick Judge. He is the regional director here. Explain this business to us a little bit.
So Imperfect Produce is a company that is on a mission to fight food waste. In this country alone, we have 20 billion pounds of produce that just go to waste every single year. So our mission is to try to recover as much of that food as we can and bring it directly to consumer for, a savings of up to 30%.
So you take, maybe this huge carrot, this tiny little pepper, box it all up and ship it directly to the customer's home.
Absolutely. And when you go to the grocery store, you're not going to find the giant carrot aisle or the mini eggplant aisle. But when you cook this and you eat this, it is 100% as perfect and as nutritional as anything that you would find in the store.
And this is helpful to local farmers right here in Wisconsin.
Absolutely, because if a farmer has a season where they overproduce and they can't sell all their product to a grocery store, then we want to partner with that farmer so that we can bring it to the consumers as well.
And I know you're a customer yourself, and you were talking about how all this food tastes just as good as something that you would find in the grocery store.
Absolutely. We as employees get our boxes every single week, just as the customers do, and I, for one, take out the broccoli and put in extra Brussels sprouts, but everything that we sell to the customer is just as good, if not better.
And delicious, and it is cost effective. You were saying a box can cost as little as 12 bucks.
Yeah, it usually starts at around $11 or $12, but the good thing for us is that, if you don't like something, you can just replace it with something that you want or that you would eat more of. So really, you can get as big a box as you want.
So my box would not include peppers, but maybe some berries, lots of apples probably. Okay, well, thank you so much, Patrick.
No
and again, all customizable. Cost as little as 12 bucks. You can either have the food shipped every week or bi-weekly. A great option if you're trying to kind of mix it up with the veggies and help the environment a little bit too. I'll send it back to you too.
All right, in the 5:30 hour, I promised I was making family dinner. Keely, Josh is a little picky. So what are you bringing back so I can get prepared here?
Okay, I'm excited. I'll hear about the menu at the next hour, Leah.
All right,
next
sounds
half
good.
hour, rather.
Keely Arthur reporting for us. Thank you, Keely.
All right, it is 6:09 on this Monday morning, and the start of this week is going to look a lot like the start of last week, unfortunately. Hattie's talking rain and storms in our Monday forecast coming right up.
And after watching The Price is Right for most of her life, a Wisconsin woman finally got to come on down. And it turns out, appearing on this show is a bit of a family affair. This is a story you're not going to want to miss. It's straight ahead on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the Hattie-O patio. Need an umbrella this morning. Some light rain continues to fall here at the station. Coming off a gorgeous weekend, but it looks like things are going to cool down as we head into this week. Take a look at that 10-day temperature planner, and you'll see that we are below normal for the start of the week and actually dipping quite a bit below normal by Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 40s and only low 50s. So a couple of cool days coming up this week, but then we do get back into the 60s for the upcoming weekend and heading into next week. By next Wednesday, normal high for that day will be 68 degrees. So those normals are really creeping up there. We did have some showers and thunderstorms roll through the area yesterday, a couple of them generating severe thunderstorm warnings from the National Weather Service. Some pretty heavy rain, over an inch measured in parts of Sauk County, northwestern Dane County, as well as far southwestern Wisconsin and Grant County as well. So there were some pockets of heavier rain, also some hail produced by some of those thunderstorms. Now, no severe weather is expected today, but it is expected to be wet as you start your Monday morning. Showers continue to move through the area from west to east this morning, mainly just light to moderate rain. I have seen a few lightning strikes showing up on the radar map, but those all have been south of the state line this morning. Here's a wider view. You can see that the back edge of the precipitation is working its way through northern Wisconsin and falling apart as we speak. So rain chances confined mainly to the morning hours today. And that is depicted pretty well on our future track forecast model. Drying out for the afternoon with highs right around 60 degrees. There is a small chance for rain in southern Wisconsin overnight tonight, but mainly a dry day coming our way for Tuesday. That's good news because Wednesday is looking pretty wet for most of the state. Some of those showers could be pretty heavy on Wednesday, and the rain chances continue right into Thursday. So it's looking like over an inch is possible as we head through the rest of this week as far as moisture. A live look from the Edgewater Skycam this morning. It is a cloudy start to the day here in Madison and in most locations. We did have some fog earlier this morning, but now it looks like that fog has cleared up, so that is good news. Temperature is 49 in the Dells. Everyone else actually starting in the 50s, and as mild as 55 this morning in Platteville and Janesville. So not a bad start temperature-wise. The future track forecast model for southern Wisconsin takes rain through the area this morning, but it dries out for the afternoon. Temperatures should top in the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. May see a few peaks of sunshine, while the clouds will fill back in for the nighttime hours. There's that chance for some rain, mainly in just far southern Wisconsin overnight. Dry weather on Tuesday, but then windy, wet, and chilly on Wednesday and Thursday. Those will be the coldest days of the week. We rebound nicely back into the 60s for the upcoming weekend. It's time for your First Alert traffic update this morning with Jason Stone. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No major incidents to report at this time. Drivers are getting to the Beltline without delay and are moving at the posted speed limit. Expect to pump the brakes heading north on Verona Road between Highway PD and the Beltline. And it's light traffic downtown at the intersections on East Wash and around the Capitol Square. With your First Alert traffic, I am Jason Stone.
All right, thank you so much, Jason, and thank you, Hattie. 6:17 your time now. A Wisconsin woman will be coming on down later today on The Price is Right here on News 3 Now.
Gail Rice from Wisconsin Rapids will make her TV debut on the game show this morning. She's been watching the show since she was 7 years old. She's 70 now and says seeing herself on her favorite show is a dream come true.
But The Price is Right by far is 100,000 times better than anything that has happened to me, except having my kids.
You gotta count that.
Gail's my new favorite person. It turns out she isn't the first member of her family to appear on the show either. Her son got on stage and made it to the showcase showdown before. In her words, he blew it.
Ooh, tough words.
Gail can't say how she did on the show, but you can find out starting at 10 this morning right here on News 3 Now.
Okay, Josh, if you got to be on a game show, what would it be?
Oh boy, that's tough. Probably Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think I'd be a good spinner.
I'm a Survivor gal.
Oh.
I love to camp. I think I'd be good
Yeah,
at
you
it.
probably would be good at that.
Eating
I would
lizards.
not be good at that.
No, that's not your thing. Wheel of Fortune for you.
Not at all. All right, there is another group of grandmas in Wisconsin staying competitive, showing age is just a number.
Such a cool story. Lacrosse played host to a granny basketball tournament over the weekend. Teams from La Crosse, Viroqua, Decorah, and Lansing played 2 games each under granny rules. That means no running, jumping, or body contact.
What?
And players are limited to 2 dribbles per possession. We could handle this, Josh.
I think so.
Despite the name, you don't have to be a grandma to get in on the fun.
You do not have to be a mother. You do not have to be a grandmother. It's just named for the granny shot that you get 3 points if you shoot a granny.
I can do the granny shot.
I don't know if I can. I'd be leaning on you. The oldest player in the tournament was 87 years old. I bet they would still show us up.
Probably. You know, I grew up playing hockey in Minnesota,
Did
so I was
you?
never good at basketball. But the granny shot, I could nail that every time.
I was a bench warmer in basketball for sure. Not my sport.
At least you looked good.
That's true. I looked great on the bench. That was lovely.
There you go. That's all that matters. Just kidding. 6:18 is your time right now. Speaking of basketball, Giannis and the Bucks were able to pull out a big win on Friday, and they're hoping to keep the Boston crowd quiet again tonight in Game 4 in Boston. We'll preview that matchup.
And Hattie has the umbrella out again this morning.
Aw.
Probably a good sign. The kiddos will need one too. She has another check on our forecast when we return on News 3 Now this morning.
And we welcome you back at 6:21 on a Monday morning, and we've established our word of the day, drippy.
That is a good word to describe this morning. A little tough to get out of bed, maybe. Here's what it looks like in Platteville. Ugh, Monday.
Monday.
So hard to take after such a beautiful weekend, but clouds in the area today as well as a little bit of rain. Let's take a look at what's happening. Here's the view in Madison of the Capitol, but gray skies abound early today. Our forecast has a little bit of rain in the region. Let's take a look at some of those radar pictures. If we can pull up Max 1, we'll see temperatures here across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are in the 50s, so it's not a bad start to the day at all. There we go, 52 degrees, 55 in Janesville. Your bus stop weather forecast has a chance for rain this morning, drying out this afternoon.
All right, thank you so much, Hattie. 6:22 your time now. This just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. There are some big changes coming to CBS this morning. You're taking a live look at Studio 57 right now, where you'll be seeing some new faces, both in the morning and the evening. Nora O'Donnell has been named anchor and managing editor of the CBS Evening News. John Dickerson will be reporting for 60 Minutes. And on the desk, we'll be spending our mornings with Gail King, Anthony Mason, and Tony DeCoppel on CBS This Morning. All of this is going to start on May 20th. The team will be talking more about these big changes starting at 7 this morning on CBS This Morning. Back in Wisconsin, the Milwaukee Bucks will look to take a commanding 3-1 lead in their playoff series against the Boston Celtics tonight. The Bucks won Game 3 Friday night, with Giannis Antetokounmpo taking over the game in the second half. The Greek Freak scored 32 points, grabbed 13 rebounds, and dished out 8 assists in the Bucks' 7-point win. It was the first playoff win in Boston in more than 30 years. They'll look to make it 2 in a row tonight before heading back home to Milwaukee. Tip-off is set for 6 o'clock.
And the Brewers are hoping to make it 4 wins in a row as they start a new series against the Washington Nationals. The crew wrapped up a 3-game sweep of the New York Mets yesterday at Miller Park, thanks to a long 2-run home run by Christian Yelich. He returned to the lineup after missing almost a week with a back injury. Josh Hader picked up the save with 3 strikeouts in the 9th inning, sealing a 3-2 win. First pitch against the Nationals is at 6:40 tonight at Miller Park. All right, 6:24 is your time right now. So the rain is back today, but hopefully you were able to get some yard work done over the weekend. The last round of yard waste picks up today. We'll get to that in a little bit.
And overseas, the situation with Iran may be escalating as the U.S. announced overnight it's deploying more forces to the Middle East. We'll have those details coming up in our final half hour of News 3 Now this morning.
These fruits and veggies aren't going to win any beauty contest, but if you care it about the environment, let us tell you about imperfect produce ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and thanks for staying with us on this Monday, May 6th, coming off of a fantastic weekend here in the Madison area.
Yeah, Keely's fruits might not be winning a beauty pageant, but the weekend was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, too bad that's in our past, and now we're dealing with some rain this morning.
Unfortunately, the Hattie-O patio, a little drippy out there, right, Hattie?
Yeah, drippy is a great word for it this morning because it's not raining real hard right here, but definitely enough to warrant an umbrella. Wish I could say that that beautiful weather from the weekend just continues right into this week, but that's not the case for us here in southern Wisconsin. Let's take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. This is from our camera looking to the west. Again, gray skies, no chance for clearing in the immediate future at least. We have a little bit of light rain moving through the region. Take a look at the radar map, and it is pretty wet in most areas, starting to dry out a little bit in southwestern Wisconsin. The back edge of the rain will continue to work its way through the area. Rain, though, still extends back to the north to around La Crosse. Temperatures are in the 50s for the most part. Couple of 40s on the map now, 47 in the Dells, 49 in Viroqua. Still 52 here in Madison and 55 in Janesville. As you head out the door this morning, be aware it's not going to be as warm as it was yesterday, so grab that light jacket. High temperatures only in the upper 50s today. There will be a northeasterly wind. Rain chances confined mainly to the morning. Let's get a look at your News 3 Now First Alert traffic maps. Some brake lights starting to show up on the westbound side of the Beltline right around Stoughton Road. Not looking too shabby right now, though, in the downtown areas. Volume will likely increase as you go through the next hour. Verona Road, during that construction area, it is a little bit slower right now. You're adding just an extra minute. But again, be patient this morning with all the construction as well as the rain. Might slow you down on your way to work.
Yeah, I feel like I've had a lot of free car washes lately, but I wish I didn't have to at this point.
Such a positive perspective.
That's very true, Josh. Glass always half full.
You got to be positive about it, Hattie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is 6:30 on this Monday morning. In less than a week, Robert Mueller may be testifying in front of Congress, but the president says he shouldn't go. President Trump appeared to change his mind on that topic over the weekend. On Friday, the president had said that he would leave that question up to Attorney General William Barr, who testified himself last week. Both Senate Republicans and Democrats say they're interested in seeing what Mueller has to say about his own investigation beyond the 447-page report. Mueller could end up testifying next Wednesday, May 15th.
Meanwhile, the U.S. is sending an aircraft carrier and bombing task force to the Middle East in response to what the White House says are troubling warnings from Iran. The USS Abraham Lincoln is being moved to the U.S. Central Command region in the Middle East. National Security Advisor John Bolton says it's intended to be a message to Iran that any attack on U.S. interests or allies will be met with, quote, unrelenting force. Bolton says while the U.S. does not want a war with Iran, they're prepared to respond to any threat.
More local news now. At the Wisconsin State Capitol, some Republican lawmakers are pushing for an abortion legislation to curtail abortions here in Wisconsin ahead of the 2020 election. The most prominent of those measures is a bill that would require doctors to care for children born alive during abortion attempts. The bills have almost no chance of getting past Democratic Governor Tony Evers, but are an effort to re-energize the Republican base heading into next year's elections. Just last month in Green Bay, the president voiced his support for the so-called Born Alive bill, saying that right now a mother and doctor could decide to, quote, execute abortion survivors. Evers called that statement, quote, blasphemy.
News 3 Now is investigating Democratic Governor Tony Evers' plans to issue pardons. People who've served time are hopeful they could receive one of these acts of grace and be forgiven of their crimes. Our Rose Schmidt sat down with a one-on-one interview with Governor Evers to find out what steps people hoping for a pardon can take. It's been nearly 10 years since one was issued in our state because former Governor Scott Walker did not issue any over his 8 years. Since Evers took office in January, his office has received more than 1,000 requests from offenders, inmates, and family members, asking him in the pardon board to look into their stories. We asked Evers to outline his plans and share why he believes this is so important.
There's a point in everybody's life where they've done something really stupid, and you know, obviously, if you end up in the correctional institution, that's more serious than others. But you have to believe in redemption and giving people a second chance.
Only on News 3 Now at 10, we'll introduce you to this Madison man whose story is filled with loss and pain. Why those very emotions drove him to write to Governor Evers asking him to have his record wiped clean.
Your last chance to get rid of any leaves or other yard waste from the spring starts today here in Madison.
You'll want to make sure everything is placed close to the curb, either under a tarp or in a bag. And heads up, after this round, crews won't be back until the fall. The city has a schedule on when you can expect crews to be in your neighborhood on their website.
Yard waste also starting up today down in Janesville. That runs through Friday. Any waste has to be in biodegradable paper bags or reusable containers up to 35 gallons. Bags and bundles shouldn't weigh more than 50 pounds. Crews will pick them up next to your trash containers starting at 7 on your normal trash collection day. All right, 6:33 your time now. When it comes to your fruits and veggies, looks don't matter.
At least that's the message of one produce company moving into Madison. And that's where we find our Keely Arthur this morning live on the east side to explain. Hi, Keely.
Good morning, you two. Well, eating ugly can be very attractive for your waistline, your budget, and the environment. This company is, oh, see, this is why I'm not a sports reporter. The company is called Imperfect Produce. They're based in San Francisco, moving into Madison, trying to feed you the ugly fruits and veggies that wouldn't really make it into the grocery store otherwise.
That's right. So when you go to the grocery store, you're not going to find the aisle with the giant carrots and the mini eggplants or the heart-shaped potatoes.
Even though I think people would love to buy those.
This is it's a very requested product. Unfortunately, not all potatoes grow in heart shape, but yeah, so you can sign up for our services on our website, imperfectproduce.com. Sign up for a weekly box or a bi-weekly box. They usually start around $11 or $12, but the good thing is that you can customize it to whatever you want. So if your default box has broccoli in it one week and you don't want that and you want to add Brussels sprouts, then that's perfectly okay, and you can add as much into your box each week as you want.
So let's talk about the food waste aspect a little bit. I know 20 billion pounds of produce is thrown away every year simply because it's not aesthetically pleasing, and this kind of helps keep some of that out of the landfill, right?
Yeah, and that's just in this country. So to date, Imperfect Produce has rescued 40 million pounds of produce that would have just sat in a field and rotted, or just been disposed of, and everything that you see on this table would have been included in that 20 billion pounds.
And this is something that you were saying can help Wisconsin farmers. Maybe they've had a really good season and they've overproduced. They can give some of their product to you.
Sure. So when a farmer has a surplus of product and they have a good season, they shouldn't be punished that they had a good season. So we like to partner with those farmers so that we can try to help them make as much money on their harvest and to bring this food at a discount to the customers.
And this is a company that also is going to donate to local food pantries. So welcome to Madison. We're so happy to have you here. And as you heard Patrick say, this is totally customizable. So if you maybe love eggplants, but you hate grapefruits, you can get a box full of eggplants, either delivered to you bi-weekly or every week. I will send it back to you too.
Yeah, I'm glad that you put that food down because I feel like you're kind of a danger to all the people in that room right now, Keely.
I know. We have to, poor Patrick is wants to end this live shot as soon as possible so he doesn't get hit in the head with a grapefruit or something like that.
Yeah,
it's early, Keely, it's early.
It is very early for me.
Thank you so much. It is 6:36 right now. Well, on our schedule, it can be really hard to remember to eat healthy.
Yeah, I know I struggle with that. It's true for a lot of moms out there, too, who are trying to make sure their kids are getting healthy meals while coordinating a pretty busy schedule. Research from UW says you're not alone. That story's up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Breaking news into the Channel3000.com alert center this morning. One person was found dead following a fire overnight in an apartment complex in Sun Prairie. The Sun Prairie Fire Department says that person was found on the second floor of the building. Everyone else was able to get out okay. That building did not have sprinklers installed. We have more on the story right now on the Channel 3000 mobile app.
All right, 6:39 your time now. We always ask you to share your morning with us, so we decided to share our weekend with you. This is the entire News 3 Now team after the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association Awards this weekend, where we took home 9 first-place awards, including News Operation of the Year, Station of the Year, and Best Morning Newscast.
Best Morning Newscast. And Miss Leah Linscheid, she's also our best personality here for the media markets in Wisconsin, so also some good news and well-deserved award for you as well.
You're so sweet. Thank you. It's so easy when I'm working with folks like you and the entire newsroom. I am so proud to be a part of this team, and we are so proud and grateful to serve you and our community. So thank you so much for watching and supporting us in this pretty big award.
It is a big weekend for News 3 Now. So remember, if you want to share your morning, you can take a picture and post it to the Channel 3000 social media pages. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and we can pick out our favorites and air them right here on the show. Kind of fun for us to be able to pick it out here and there too. All right, it is 6:40 right now. New UW research finds stressed out parents are making too many unhealthy choices when it comes to feeding their children.
This is something I totally understand. That study shows the higher the psychological distress, the less healthy food is available in the home, meaning more unhealthy feeding practices for kids. Experts say the reliance on less healthy eating results in higher rates of obesity among children. Researchers have found acknowledging the importance of developing healthy eating habits and the way stress can derail those efforts is the first step parents need to make. They say one way to ease the burden is for parents to share their efforts with friends. It's so easy to grab those Doritos, the Rice Krispie treats when you're stressed out because it's fast.
And it's right in front of you, right?
Exactly.
Like anything good always takes a little time to get into there, but you know, it's always a little bit more worth it and you feel better in the end.
One of the tips is just don't have that stuff at your house within reach. If it's not there, you're not going to eat it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, it is 6:41 right now, and it's beginning a little cloudy and a little drippy out there, as Hattie's been mentioning.
Drippy.
Let's take a live look outside right now. Yep, it's kind of like last week. We're going to see some rain, but there is some sunshine at the end of the tunnel. We just got to get there. So Hattie will have her full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
But first, it's a very drippy May 6th. We want to say happy birthday to Baxter, Callie, Oliver, and all the kids turning 3 today. Thanks so much for celebrating with us here on News 3 Now this morning. Welcome back, 6:45 on this Monday. We wanted to take a little time to wish Hattie a happy anniversary this morning. Today marks 19 years here at News 3 Now.
I started when I was 12.
Oh my, yeah.
Very young.
So we dug up some old footage from her practice reel here, and there's also the time she was surprised by some possums on the Hattie-O patio. Take a look.
Highs, we're in the 70s. We have temperature. Oh gosh, whoop. I'll be back. There's a possum.
Run away.
In the backyard. Oh man, there's a whole family of them. 10 miles visibility, so fog is not a big issue this morning. Yes.
What a professional. You don't miss a beat.
I actually ran off and hid in the garage. I was scared.
Oh my gosh, what we didn't see, I know you had like a possum posse out there after that too. They had a couple people out there trying to fight them off for you. But
Yeah. After things were all safe, but when it first happened, no one came outside. I was just all by myself.
Live television, folks.
Poor animal probably just wanted a drink at the pond, but boy, it gave me a scare.
Or his 15 minutes of fame.
Oh my. So 19 years.
19 years, yeah, can you believe it? When I
crazy.
started, we didn't even have cell phones. They gave me a pager for when to get a hold of me when severe weather occurred.
And your clicker had a wire attached in that first clip we showed you.
We've gone through a lot of graphics changes over the years, spiffed them up a little bit, but yeah, hard to believe. A lot happens in 19 years.
Almost 2 decades, but we're so happy to have you on the team. We're lucky.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
your 19th
Happy to work
anniversary.
here.
It's a busy one. It's another
It
rain-filled
is.
morning.
You know, if I could have drawn up the weather, I definitely would have drawn up a better forecast than this. But here's a look at rain totals for southern Wisconsin over the last 24 hours, or 48 hours, I should say, but all of this fell last night. Here's a look at, we had over an inch for parts of northwestern Dane County into southern Sauk County. 4/10 officially at the airport here in Madison. Most of the area picked up around 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain, but again, there were those pockets, those blue shaded colors on the map with some heavier rain. Now again, we start with some rain this morning. Those showers are shifting through the Madison area as we speak, starting to dry out a little bit in southwestern Wisconsin, but you may see a few more sprinkles or showers before the morning is done. The back edge of the rain is moving through northwestern Wisconsin, but over the last 30 minutes, that line is starting to fall apart as well. So rain chances this morning, those rain chances will diminish this afternoon. Cold front almost right on top of us. It is moving to the south through the morning hours, so it will continue to move away from us. High pressure builds in then. I don't know if it's going to be enough to scour out all of the cloud cover that we have here across southern Wisconsin, so we're sticking with mostly cloudy skies through the day. But here's a look at your probability of precipitation. Higher this morning and then really quiet through the afternoon. May see a few showers return to the area tonight. Here's a look at the expected precipitation. Again, less than 1/4 inch for just the southern part of the state, so not a lot of rain. We start in the 50s in most spots this morning, 52 here in Madison, 55 in Janesville. A little colder in the Dells, though, down to 46 degrees. If we look at that wind map, you can see exactly where the cold front is, and it's where these winds converge. That front just in the southeastern corner of the state. Behind the front, northeasterly winds will continue through the rest of the afternoon, so that'll make it feel a little cooler. Rain showers move through the area this morning. Temperatures slowly climbing through the 50s. Again, you may see a little bit of sunshine this afternoon, but still quite a few clouds lingering. 58 for the high here in Madison, right around 60 in Mineral Point and Platteville, maybe up to 62 in Boscoville. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies, then overnight tonight, a chance for a few showers, mainly in far southern Wisconsin. Most areas, though, likely staying dry tonight. Here's a look at that extended forecast then. We have temperatures that will continue to move in the wrong direction. Guys, we should be in the mid to upper 60s this time of the year. Wednesday and Thursday, they're not going to be very nice. Highs only around 50 with strong winds as well as some rain. Once we get through the middle of the week, though, it does improve as we head towards the upcoming weekend. Look at Brander and the Dells. Brander's going to want to pay a close attention to that forecast. It's got a nice coat there.
Yes.
We don't want to gain raindrops on that.
Brander is looking ahead to the weekend very regally.
Oh, as we all are.
Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Stay with us. The morning sprint is up next. 6:52, time for the morning sprint. After a really nice weekend, the rain is back this morning. Hattie will have those details in her first alert forecast.
And Keely Arthur is on Madison's east side, featuring some ugly fruit that could help cut down on food waste. But we start in some Prairie, where one person is dead and multiple people are out of their homes after a fire at an apartment building overnight. It happened just after 9 on South Bird Street, just off West Main. Crews were on the scene within 2 minutes of the call, but arrived to see flames already showing from a second-story unit. One person was reportedly trapped inside, though crews were able to get them out. This morning, one person was found dead on the second floor. We have much more on this story over on channel3000.com.
3 people are dead and another person is still missing this morning after a silicon factory explosion in Illinois. 2 of those victims were from Wisconsin. It happened Friday night at AB Specialty Silicones about 40 miles north of Chicago. Yesterday afternoon, rescue workers recovered the body of one of 2 people missing. One more body is believed to be located in the rubble of that plant.
Investigators have narrowed down the cause of a deadly plane fire in Russia to 3 possibilities: inexperienced pilots, equipment failure, or bad weather. The bodies of more than 40 victims were recovered this morning. Nearly 40 others survived the fire, which started after an emergency landing in Moscow. The pilots had to turn back to that city after taking off, after running into problems once they were in the air.
The U.S. is sending an aircraft carrier and bombing task force to the Middle East in response to what the White House says are troubling warnings from Iran. The USS Abraham Lincoln is being moved to the U.S. Central Command region in the Middle East. National Security Advisor John Bolton says it's intended to be a message to Iran that any attack on U.S. interests or allies will be met with, quote, unrelenting force. Bolton says while the U.S. does not want war with Iran, they're prepared to respond to any threat.
President Trump's former lawyer is headed to jail today. Michael Cohen is scheduled to report to a prison in New York for his 3-year sentence. Cohen was supposed to start his sentence in early March, but his attorneys were able to get that pushed back as he testified against the president in closed-door sessions with lawmakers. Cohen pleaded guilty to tax evasion, false statements to a bank, and campaign finance violations for hush money payments he made on behalf of President Trump.
And you'll need your umbrella this morning with some light shower activity moving through the area from west to east. You can probably give that umbrella a break, though, this afternoon. It is going to be a little cooler today than yesterday. We start in the low 50s this morning. Northeasterly winds into the afternoon with a high of 58 degrees.
Hattie, thank you. At the state capitol, some Republican lawmakers are making a new push to curtail abortion in Wisconsin ahead of the 2020 election. The most prominent is a measure that would require doctors to care for children born alive during abortion attempts. The bills have almost no chance of getting past Democratic Governor Tony Evers, but could re-energize the Republican base heading to next year's election. Last month in Green Bay, the president voiced his support for the so-called Born Alive bill.
Lawmakers are hoping new legislation could help fire departments across the state recruit and retain firefighters. Senator Patrick Testin is working on a proposal to give tax incentives to folks who volunteer in those positions. Tax credits would help reimburse volunteers for their equipment, their training, and their travel expenses. New members would get tax credits when they join those departments, and those would increase after 5 years to help fuel retention.
It's been nearly 10 years since a Wisconsin governor has issued a pardon, but that could change under Governor Tony Evers. Tonight, only on News 3 Now, political reporter Rose Schmidt brings us a one-on-one interview with the governor to learn more about his plans. We'll also bring you the story of a Madison man who's asking the governor to wipe his record clean. You'll find that story tonight only on News 3 Now at 10.
I'm going to pepper you with a pretty scary stat on food waste. Every year, 20 billion pounds of fruits and veggies are thrown out simply because they don't look very good. A San Francisco company is trying to change that. They're moving into Madison and selling boxes of unaesthetically pleasing greens, gourds, grapes, anything that wouldn't normally make it to the grocery store because it just isn't pretty. You can help support local farmers, help the environment by buying your own box. It costs as little as $11 and totally customizable. So if you hate broccoli, you don't need to commit to that.
Thank you so much, Keely. 6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hey, Jason.
Hey. Only a minor delay westbound between Stoughton Road to Monona Drive on the Beltline. A stalled vehicle was just reported north of the Stoughton Road interchange. Otherwise, motorists are near or at the posted speed limit. Also, no issues on John Nolan. Expect brake lights at North Shore Drive, though. With your first alert traffic, I am Jason Stone.
Thanks so much, Jason.
And it is a wet start this morning. Here's a live view from the Edgewater Skycam. Lots of gray in that picture this morning. Hard to get going on this Monday morning, but I don't think you'll need the umbrella for the afternoon. It will definitely be a little cooler with high temperatures in the upper 50s. Let's take a peek at that week as you look ahead to what's happening for the rest of the week. Plan on a couple of chilly days on Wednesday and Thursday with highs only near 50 degrees.
Weekend's looking pretty good, though.
Yes. It is never too early to look ahead to the weekend.
There you go. All right, Hattie, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Go make it a great day.